Hi everyone and welcome to Unit Review. We're your hosts, Jack
and Dan.
Today we're going to be looking at the Night Scythe, Dan.
Yes, the flying croissant of death.
Certainly is. Certainly is.
Distinctive shape. Is it distinctive on the battlefield?
It is. It's an interesting one because there's two of them that look very similar. But anyways, today we're going to talk about the Night Scythe. So some good ways of playing it, but let's dive straight in, Dan. What is the stat block of this?
Yeah, stat block's tasty. It's got 20-inch move, or well, 20 plus, because it can fly as far as it likes.
20 minimum as well.
Yes. It's got a toughness of 9, which is not bad for a flyer.
No.
Save of 3 up, 12 wounds, 7 leadership, and an OC of...
Zero. The
'cause
big 0.
Yeah.
Big goose egg.
Yeah.
It's a shame, that one.
Yeah, it's an aircraft, so...
It's very true,
you know.
But I mean, I wish aircraft's got a bit more love in the OC department because, Scarabs and Swarms, some of the ones have gone away.
Yes. This is a sticking point at the moment in terms of we've got a bee in our bonnet about OC 0 units. We'll talk about that in another video.
Exactly.
But back to this one. Do you want to give us a bit more info? What's the unit composition? And
Absolutely. So it's one model by itself. It is equipped with the twin Tesla Destructor, absolutely lovely guy, and also it's got the armored bulk for melee, which is pretty good. It costs 145 points, and it's probably worth mentioning when this is damaged between the wounds of 1 and 4, it has -1 to hit.
yes.
So it does get damaged. Gotta be careful.
What we used to call bracketed in the old days.
Yeah, back in our day, back in our edition, Dan. But yes, what about keywords? What we're looking at?
Yes, obviously it's got Necrons.
Yeah.
It's obviously got vehicle. As we just mentioned, it's an aircraft, so therefore it's also got the fly keyword.
Yep.
It's got the Night Scythe keyword because that's the unit name, but also the main one to watch for here is it's a transport. It can carry models.
It certainly can carry models.
But before we get on to that,
Exactly.
let's talk some more about those guns.
Those guns. America. Yes. So again, like I say, this is equipped with the twin Tesla Destructor. A really good name, but it is sustained 2 with twin linked. So that basically means you get to reroll the wound roll.
Nice.
It has a 36-inch range, 6 attacks, hitting on freeze, strength 8, 0 AP, but 2 damage. So that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Moving straight on to the armored bulk, which is the melee profile. So this has 3 hits, hitting on 4s, strength 6, 0 AP, and just 1 damage.
Yeah, it's not designed for melee.
It's not designed for melee at all. So again, it's a flyer, so you won't get charged, but anything that has fly that charges it, you probably want to get away from it.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
But what about abilities, Dan? 'Cause this is kind of where the unit does kind of pick up.
Yes, it's got some really cool abilities that I think make it in certain detachments an auto include, but let's get into it. So obviously it's got Deadly Demise, but it's only D3, but it's got Deep Strike as well.
Very nice.
On top of that, it has, this is my favourite one, translocation beams. So at the end of the fight phase, if there are no models currently embarked within this transport, you can select one friendly Necrons infantry unit wholly within 6 inches of this transport. Unless that unit is within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, it can embark within this transport.
It's really good, that.
So yeah, fundamentally, you can disembark a unit, it can shoot, and then it can nick back in.
Just jump back in.
Hallelujah.
Absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
It's good to see. Again, we'll get into it later on why or how you can use it, but yeah, that's the one to look out for, really.
Yes.
But it has a couple of others as well, doesn't it?
It does. Do you want me to carry on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so it's also got Quantum Invader. This model can be set up in the reinforcement step of your first, second, or third movement phase, regardless of any mission rules. That is powerful.
Go ahead. No, please.
Well, basically, what that means is Deep Strike in turn 1.
That's exactly it. Exactly what I was going to say. Deep Strike, combining that with Deep Strike, getting in their face turn 1 can be quite good and scary for them.
Yes.
So I do like it.
Yeah, I love it.
And it also has transport.
Yeah, it has a transport capacity of whatever it likes.
Pretty
Basically,
much
it's one.
It can fit as many guys in here as possible.
1 Necron infantry unit, but that can be 3 Scorpec destroyers or 20 warriors and 2 characters.
2 characters, and also cryptal thralls if you really want to.
Push, 24.
Out. Probably wouldn't include the cryptal thralls in that unit if you're going to be doing the way we're going to play it.
No,
but
yeah, technically
can. Yeah. So it's endless.
It's like that meme. You can fit so much in this.
Yeah. Slap this bad boy.
Slap this bad boy. Yeah, you can fit so many Necrons.
It's very good. Spot on. And obviously it's the faction ability as well, the reanimation protocols. Everyone probably knows what that is by now, but you get the D3 wounds back in your command phase as well.
Good.
Nice one. Well, moving on to a couple of stratagems. You've probably heard these ones before from us, but these ones are probably the best ones that we've found of it. So Quantum Deflections. This is 1 CP in the Hyper-Equipped Legion. When your opponent shooting phase or on the fight phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its target, you target one Necron's vehicle from your army that was selected as the target of one or more of the attacks. The effect is, until the end of the phase, your unit has a 4-up invuln save. Now, this is really useful for this model because, yes, it has a strength 9, but it only has a 3-up save.
Yeah.
So the most big weapons out there will be taking it out.
Toughness 9 is like light vehicle, which is what it should be. It's a flyer. But like you say, if you're getting any with a 3-up save or getting any AP on it, those weapons, anti-tank weapons, are going to be wounding it on 4s or 3s, and then you're probably going to be saving on 6s if you're lucky.
If you're lucky. Yeah. Because obviously, probably worth mentioning at this point as well, anything that shoots a flyer has -1 to hit.
Yes.
So you do have that extra added kind of cover, but at the same time, you want to make sure with the way that we play this, you kind of want to keep this unit alive. So I probably recommend that stratagem.
Yeah,
the majority of
definitely.
Times. Next one.
Next one is our old favourite, Cosmic
Old
Precision.
reliable.
Your old reliable, yes. And just to quickly run through this in case you've never heard us talk about this before, use this in your movement phase. Your target is one Necrons unit from your army, excluding monster units, so you can't use it on Catan. And it's the target unit has to be arriving using the Deep Strike or Hyper Phase ability this phase. So that means, as you can probably tell, it's a Hyper-Equipped Legion strat.
Correct.
And the effect is your unit can be set up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 3 inches horizontally away from all enemy models. So instead of the 9-inch bubble for Deep Strike, it's 3. And a unit targeted with this stratagem is not eligible to declare a charge in the same turn, which is fair enough.
We're absolutely fair. Yeah. We're not going to be doing that with this guy at all. So 2 good stratagems. And again, they are from the Hyper-Equipped Legion. But realistically, this unit, and again, with how we play it, can be used in any detachment. There's no kind of restriction. But those 2 there's no real other stratagems out there apart from those 2.
Yes.
That really make a big difference.
If you're using it in the other detachments, you can't give it a 4-up invuln, which, as we're going to come on to, can be a real game changer.
Certainly
can.
Certainly can. Certainly can. Right, we'll move on how to play this unit then. So for this one, there's not a lot of ways to play it because it's probably worth mentioning. Basically, this unit by itself just isn't good. If it has nothing inside of it, you're wasting half its abilities, and it has 0 OC, so it can't do any actions or kind of hold objectives or whatever, and it just doesn't have the firepower to really make any big of a difference. And also, when you get like behind enemy lines or engage on all fronts, your aircraft models don't count. They don't count to it. So realistically, you've got to bring models. And the best way to probably play this unit is that you just pack this unit with basically a bunch of warriors. We've done a poll actually just on YouTube last week about what do people use the Royal Warden with, and I think it was like 50. It was pretty close until the end.
Virtually 50-50, wasn't it? Yeah.
And it's almost the same with this one.
Yeah.
I typically lean towards the packing this unit with a bunch of warriors.
Yes.
Then the Immortals. I like the extra damage and I like the extra AP and the lethals.
I prefer the Immortals, but because of the point sink for what for the warriors. But
yes,
you can get it works with both fundamentally.
It does. It really does. And maybe just kind of iron that out. So basically the best way to play it is that you have, again, warriors or mortals. But in this example, I'll go with warriors. You get 20 warriors packed inside here, being led by the Plasmancer. And the 20 warriors are going to be packed with the Gauss Reaper, which is basically the -1 AP, 1 damage.
Yes.
And the Plasmancer, you're going to give him actually an enhancement, which is the Arson Tyrant.
A Risen Tyrant, yes.
Arson
Tyrant would be good if you just set fire to everything.
But so basically, so that attachment, now the reason why I want to do it for is because this Plasmancer is giving you 5 criticals on 5s. So those lethals on 6s are now going to lethals on 5s.
Nice.
Which is really good. The enhancement basically allows the unit to basically reroll all hit rolls if they were deployed this turn.
Wow.
Now, since you're basically deploying them and bringing them back up every single turn because of their abilities, they were coming on the field, they have the ability, and then they're getting sucked back up into the spaceship to basically do it all again next turn.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yep.
Because I guess, because the warriors are inside the transport. The transport's in Deep Strike.
Correct.
So they should get the benefits of the...
They always get it. Yeah. I looked it up before we looked at it. So anyone out there wants to correct me? You can. But I'm right.
He's up for a fight today.
I hope I am. Actually, now that I say that.
Brave words.
There's lots of people out there who'd be like, I'm going to go search and prove them wrong. Valid, please do.
Yeah.
But no, so it's a very good thing. And like I say, you can replace those warriors with the Immortals because, again, you're thinking that, the model point sink into warriors, I think that's 200 points for a squad of 20 warriors.
Yeah.
Whereas Immortals is what? I think 75 or something like that. Closer to the
you'd be
mark?
one. Yeah, depending on when. I mean, you run it with 10 immortals, and once you put your characters in, but you're looking at slightly cheaper. But it depends on your play style and what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because with those warriors, with them jumping in and out, your opponent's going to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And once the transport dies, they're still going to be a problem.
It's true. Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely a lot of play in that. Or if you just want, if your style is more like run and gun, then you put the 10 immortals in there. They do as much as they can, and when the transport goes down, they're not going to last very long either.
No.
And that's you just accept that.
It's true. But yes, so again, that's probably one of the better ways to play it. There's not a lot more out there because obviously with you could really use it as like a. Again, you mentioned before about the Scorpex, maybe packing the transport with a bunch of Scorpex, getting the back lines. But the issue we've got there, though, is as soon as those are out of the transport's then useless. Again, can't get any really secondaries. Shooting capabilities aren't that amazing.
It's a risk because the Night Scythe's ability requires the unit to not be in engagement range at the end of the fight phase. So you have to guarantee that the Scorpex are going to come out, kill whatever they've been sent to kill, and are still within 6 inches of the Night Scythe to get back in. So it's much harder to do. It's hard.
It's probably doable if you use cosmic position as well to kind of get there close, make the charge, whatever. But that's going to be really hard. Really hard, isn't it?
Yes, I agree. I think there's the Monolith and Scorpex, which we talked about the other week. Go and check that video out. That's probably a better synergy.
I reckon. I agree.
But this one, it's about dropping it in somewhere, get the warriors or immortals out, do a load of damage, and then get them back in, and then use your 4-up invuln strats to keep the vehicle alive, and then you just rinse and repeat. Yeah,
basically, yeah. Probably worth tying on the back end since you'll probably be using this in the Hypercrypt Legion. One of the issues that you got is that it has to move a minimum of 20. So if you as soon as you move it, you pivot it up to 90 degrees.
Yes.
If you know it's going to go off at the
off the board
in your turn, just make sure that using your detachment ability, you can pick this unit off the board for it to come back in next turn. Whereas if you don't do that, the aircraft flies off and it can't come back until the next turn.
So you're going to lose a turn.
You're going to lose a turn of doing this ability. So
that's really cool. Because
it is a Necron's abilities and it is a Necron's unit, so you can't just take it off the board. So definitely worth doing.
With it having turn 1 deep strike now, if you go second, that means turn 1 you can drop it in.
And cause chaos, and then again drop it in. Warriors pop out, just destroy. Probably just do a good chunk of damage to a good unit. And then back in and then fly away.
And even
rinse and repeat.
It'll probably make your opponents set up differently because they were going to have to hide absolutely everything very carefully. Because if you get turn 1, you can still deep strike it in. Then
if you want to be stupid tricky, you just cosmic position it.
Just
be like, I'm back here. That'll be filth.
Speaking of which, then how would we advise people to deal with this then if you're playing against it?
Yeah, so it's for me, it's just like you can almost cheese it in a way. So you can zone it out as best as you can.
You can see your one on the table. It's got a reasonable sized base and so on. So it takes up quite a bit of real estate, doesn't it?
It does. So basically, what you could do if you're going against, if you have a swarm list and you're worried for maybe those 10 immortals coming out with all those sustained 2 hits from their Tesla carbines, and you're worried. What you could do is just look at the way it's flying and then be like, I'll tell you what, it has to move a minimum of 20, so it has to land here. If you then just swarm out a line to the edge of the board, what it has to do is it can't, I looked this up, it can't land on top of a model. No. So it can fly over it. If it's in engagement range, it can fly out normally. But the issue that this has is that it can't land on top of a model.
Yes.
So you could just string a bunch of swarm
gaunts out or something
in a straight line off the board. You just watch it fly off into the next
because it has to move 20 and if it can't, then if the space it was going to move into is occupied by your chaff, it has to just fly off the board.
It has to fly off
Interesting.
The board. And then also on the flip side, if you don't have enough units for that, still keep it to the point where obviously if you've got 20 warriors, 21 plus the Plasmancer, that's a lot of models to have to place down. So if your opponent does like some sort of semi-line, but then does such an awkward line where you can't pull out those 20 warriors, they either have to sacrifice some of their warriors that can't be placed because any units that can't be placed gets destroyed, or just not deploy them.
Yeah.
And then again, you're basically wasting an entire unit inside of a transport.
Yes, it's a lot of points to be sat in there that if it can't get out. That's another reason why I would I'm erring towards the Immortals, just because it's fewer bodies. You're sacrificing some of your damage and some of your resilience, but you're more likely to get use out of them every turn, I think.
It's a good trade.
But it very much depends on your playstyle.
It's very true. It's very true. And like I say, the profile by itself isn't very good, so you need to make the most of the units inside. And again, if you're fielding this guy or even a couple of these guys, because you could take up to 3. I've never seen someone do that yet. But that would be horrible to see. You want to make sure you go second as well, because again, that turn 1 deep strike, that's just extra damage you're getting to push out. It's nice. But overall, how to verse it? Again, it's not that tough, so you can take it out. If you notice that your opponent only has 1 CP and you kind of want to help them get rid of it, well, then just target this. Take it out. Strength, toughness 9. It's a medium vehicle, as you say. Yeah, 9 wounds. So no, 9 wounds. 12 wounds, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep, 12 wounds. So not a lot. A good couple of shots will get it down. And then once those units pop out, then free game.
Yes, it's one of those. If you can bait your opponent's CP out, so they haven't got this 1 CP for the invuln save, it's an easy target.
It is,
because it's a flyer. It's difficult to hide.
Yeah.
There's only certain terrain. If you've got true line of sight, you can shoot it, can't you?
Exactly.
Pretty much, unless it's hiding behind like fully behind a terrain piece. Yeah, but it's easier to shoot than a standard model.
Certainly is.
And even with the -1 to hit, particularly if you've got something like rerolls like Oath of the Moment or a pain token from Jakari or whatever,
sink it in. Yeah, like a couple of units down, it'll probably take it out pretty easily.
Yeah.
But I think that is mainly it.
I think it's giving the update they've given it to turn 1 deep strike makes it really interesting at this points value at the moment. How you use it in terms of whether it's with warriors or immortals, or if you found another infantry unit to use with it, like Scorpex or. I don't know why you would put flayed ones in there, but maybe you would.
I would.
Yeah, you put flayed ones in anything.
I'll do anything, me, for flayed ones, absolutely.
But yeah, let us know in the comments, please, how you use it, and we'd love to hear more about that. And in the meantime, go and check out the rest of the unit review videos. We are working our way through the Necron Codex at the moment.
We're getting there.
So there's quite a good back catalogue. So if you like this, please go and check those out. Otherwise, we'll be back soon.
Yes, thank you so much.